When I do these lives, Timothy, yay! When I do the lives, I can't necessarily plan my content the same way that I do when I'm doing edited videos, like pre-recorded videos. So the vibe in my lives are always going to be a little bit different. So I'm just disclaiming this before we get started. I have a lot of new subscribers over here. I'm realizing there's a lot of people that they don't know my style. They don't know my style. They don't know my personality. So I think I throw them off sometimes when I'm like just being myself, because I'm a very unusual character, apparently. It's so weird because when you think of yourself, muñequita sintética. I like that name. Hi, Annie. Yeah, when I'm just like being myself, I'm used to me. So I don't really like shock myself, I guess, with the things that I say and do. But when other people are around me, they're like, is she for real? Like, they don't know how to process my personality. So it gets me in trouble because I always end up having to like explain myself, you know? The style that I do my lives is very casual and laid back, and just like the way I would be if y'all was here in the room with me, hanging out with me in real life, and not like how I am when I'm doing my edited videos that are a little bit more organized, I guess. I'm not a very organized person. I'm like all over the place. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I'm just putting it out there because I don't know what people be expecting when they come over here like trying to talk to me, and I shock them with the stuff that comes out my mouth. So let me tell you a scary story, okay? Once upon a time, it was a dark and stormy night. Ding dong! I heard my doorbell ring, which is creepy because I don't have a doorbell. Shocked, I decided to go see who's out on my porch. But when I looked through the peephole, wasn't nobody there. Like a smart person, I opened the door. What is that noise? Oh my gosh, is my house haunted? When I opened the door, there was a package on the porch. So I reached out and grabbed the package, brought it in the house, and then I opened it up. And do you know what I found inside? This wig! Oh my gosh. It was terrifying. I really commend all the people that I'm seeing on Amazon that are trying so hard, not Amazon, on Instagram, trying so hard to style these wigs and give them some life. I mean, they're trying. They really are. And I really appreciate that they're trying to get the most for their $100. They're trying to get their money's worth out of these hot damn wiggity wigs, okay? But at the same time, I'm just like, bruh, they ain't it. The forehead be foreheading, as somebody in my comments said so eloquently, and I'm just like, why? Like, they're such beautiful dolls. That's a shame about these dolls. They're so beautiful, like beautiful. They're so pretty. My husband said to me, oh my gosh, I saw a thumbnail with one of your new dolls in it. She's so pretty. My husband said that to me, okay? He don't be giving a hot diggity damn what I'm doing with my dolls, but that's how stunning these dolls are. Their faces are gorgeous, and I'm just like, what a missed opportunity with the hair. We have solutions for that, so no worries. I want to talk about a couple of things concerning my experience so far. I'm just kind of updating you guys on what I've been like doing with these dolls. You know, you might be like, I ain't trying to do all of that. Firstly of all, I just need to be very clear about these boots. These clear boots that were part of the selling point for me with this kit. I was like really into all the clear, shoes and stuff. And I feel like, let me turn this light on. I don't know if that's any better. What do you call this? The boots, right? They supposed to look like, in the pictures, they look clear like a window. But in person, they look like somebody's hot breath is on the window. Like, I don't understand what happened. What did I do wrong? And I even like rubbed it and stuff thinking, well, maybe it's just foggy. No, it's not foggy. That's just the color. So that's a little bit misleading. I don't know. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look the way that I expected for it to look. So I feel some kind of way about it. Let me not complain too much, because we're not supposed to be complaining here. Okay, we're supposed to only say nice things about dolls. After we spend money on them, we should not expect anything other than amazingness, because who the hell do we think we are critiquing things over here? So let me not get carried away with that. Let me tell you guys a funny story. First of all, I gotta stop looking at the comments before I come on here, because honestly, I didn't know so many unhinged people be hanging out in my comments. Like, they didn't used to. But here's the thing: when your videos reach new audience members and it's outside of your usual scope of subscribers, you just attract like weird people to to your audience. You know what I'm saying? So it's to be expected. And I'm mentioning this specifically because I have a lot of people who watch my content who are also content creators themselves. Some of their channels are bigger than mine. Some of them are smaller than mine. Some of them are more or less experienced than me when it comes to YouTubing, right? So I'm talking about this experience to share it with those people who watch my content too. Because sometimes you be thinking it's just me as a creator. You be telling yourself like, what did I do to attract this kind of attention to my channel? Nothing. You didn't do anything. So that's why I'm like talking about this, because this is the reality of YouTubing. If you're someone who's thinking about becoming a YouTuber for any genre, it doesn't matter what the genre is, whether it's dolls or whatever it is that you're into, if you put yourself on the internet in this capacity, people are going to attack you. People are going to hate on you. People are going to just bore you with their opinions that nobody asked them for. And it just comes with the territory. And for some reason, they think if they like cuss you out in your comments on your platform, that's going to somehow make you change what you're doing to suit their taste. Let me stop laughing. But that's not how it works, you know? And as a creator, if you feel pressured to do that, you gotta get stronger. You gotta ignore that, because you can't let people dictate how you're creating your art, you know? Because at the end of the day, that's what YouTube is. It's a form of art, and we're expressing ourselves as artists with the content that we create. Somebody said in the comments, this is just one of the weird comments, okay? Somebody said something to the effect of, I'm like paraphrasing here, something to the effect of, real adults who collect dolls never take the dolls out of the box, and they keep their dolls absolutely pristine. They don't touch it. If you remove your dolls from the box, that means you're not really a doll collector. The nerve. I'm like, excuse you. First of all, you came on a video talking about these dolls. Okay, they're literally called You Create. The box literally says customize, personalize, play. They're marketed towards grown-ups. You can't read? Like, the person literally came on a video talking about these dolls to leave that comment, and that was like the second comment that they left. I'm like, so you watched the whole video, had the nerve to write 2 whole paragraphs, and then at the end of the paragraph they were like, people like this get on my nerves, I'm done with this content, unsubscribing. And I'm like, bro, first of all, I never even knew you was subscribed. Who are you? Like, you ain't never said nothing all this time. All of a sudden, you're having a whole temper tantrum, and then you're like threatening to leave off. So here's my question. If you tell a content creator, I don't like X, Y, and Z about your channel, I'm leaving, so I'm unsubscribing. If you do that, right? Do you think that the content creator is going to change something because you said that? What do you think is going to be the end result? Like, you think they're going to be upset because you said, I'm an a-hole, I'm leaving? Like, we know, bye. Like, nobody was looking for you in the first place. You know what I'm saying? What do the people actually believe is gonna happen when they say these things? And then here's another thing I'm wondering. If indeed I do take your comments so seriously that I decide, you know what? I'm gonna change up the way I do things because this person got upset. If you say I'm unsubscribing, then how you gonna know that I changed anything? Because you're not gonna be here anyway to witness the change. So either way, it's futile for you to make an announcement to me that you're leaving off. Just go. Like, why do people do stuff like that? It's just so bizarre to me. I feel like those people need a lot of attention, and that's part of the reason why they talk like that. They just get so emotional, and I'm like, what is your dealio? How you gonna tell an adult that they can't buy Barbies and then do what they want to do with them? You're somehow collecting wrong because you took yours out of the box? Do you not realize these are toys? Like, they're meant to be taken out of the box. Even high-end collectible dolls are still built in a way that you can remove them from the box and it's not going to damage the doll. Like, it's just so bizarre to me that people actually think like this and they just live on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So if you call them out, you're the a-hole. If you say something, you're the crazy person. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Megan Raquel said, nah, I like to play with my dolls and take pictures. Exactly. Like, who am I to tell you what to do with your dolls? If you want to pull all their heads off and make a shrine of just doll heads, that's your business. And he said, that's nuts. Toys are literally created to be played with. Yeah, you'd think somebody would know this, claiming they're an adult. The doll gay said, you can also barely see them with those opaque plastic sleeves in front of them while they're in the box. I know. Arman Rahim said, has Carla said anything about what hair fiber the wigs are made of? That is actually a great question, which I didn't actually ask him. I was more concerned about the face sculpts, so I've been asking him about that. I did send him a, what do you call that? Like a photo collage with the supposed names matched to the faces to confirm whether or not that was correct. And he told me that it was incorrect. He said some of them are right and some of them are wrong. So he was going to basically like fix it. You know, he said he was going to make a post with the correct names. So I just left it at that because I mean, they're his creation. If he wants to be the first one to announce to everybody officially what the names of the sculpts are, then that's totally his right to do that. So I wasn't pressing him about it, but he did say he didn't forget. He's definitely gonna upload a post talking about the sculpt names, the correct names. Yeah, it's kind of a shame about them boots, bruh. Let me show you guys this rooting pattern that I did on this doll. So she's next of the ones that I'm going to be rerouting. I did already reroute homegirl back here, but I have a more detailed video talking about what I did with her, so that's basically coming up soon. And what I did with this one was, this is the challenge that I'm finding with these dolls, is that you do have to draw your own pattern for the rooting process so that you can, you know, map out where you're gonna put the hair at. And why does my camera continually, you know what, let's try this. There's too many pretty faces for it to focus on, and it's like having a seizure. Okay, here, is that any better? Gosh, so demanding. Ugh, electronics. Anyways, so I basically drew the hairline on with pencil first, okay? Basically going all the way around the head. Pencil you can erase if you don't like something, so there's very minimal like room for mistakes. And then after I did that, just the front row of her head I poked holes in already because I wanted to like guide myself on exactly where I want to put the plugs. Priya said, now I'm not sure if I'm autistic or not, because sometimes jokes or sarcasm doesn't always land for me despite my sense of humor. But I did love that last video and saying that to say about that guy. Talking about the Bill Greening video I did. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm autistic. I don't be understanding when other people are being sarcastic with me, like almost never. Like I have to literally ask them, are you being sarcastic right now, or did you mean what you just said? Like I have to ask them to explain it to me because I'm not sure. But people tell me all the time that I'm super sarcastic, and I'll be like, what? Like, because half the time I actually mean what I'm saying. I'm not being sarcastic, but then the other half of the time I am being sarcastic, and then people take me serious. So I'll have all these communication problems because I don't always know when I'm coming off sarcastic or not, and I have to explain myself to people. It's so bizarre. A trait of people who have autism, that we get very confused about how jokes work, how sarcasm works, how being serious works when we're talking to people, and like when to be serious. Like somebody will tell me, oh, my uncle died last week, and I guess I'm supposed to be like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But to me that feels very fake because I didn't do anything to cause your uncle to die. So like if you say you're sorry about something, that means you think something is your fault. This is just the way my brain like processes it. This is not an airport. Your departure need not to be announced. That's hilarious. That's Doggy saying that about the person who's announcing to everyone they're unsubscribing. Bye. I hope you said you unsubscribing, so you bet not comment on no more videos, bruh. I don't block people. I don't block people from my channel when they like say weird stuff to me, because first of all, it's tedious. I don't got time to be sitting here exerting all this energy to block you. Second of all, I almost always have something to say back to the people, and if they can handle the truth, they actually end up sticking around, but because they realize how silly they sound. But then if they can't handle it, then they just, you know, they F off, and it's like, good riddance, bye. But yeah, so with the doll's scalp, I ended up painting in the inside of the area that I outlined, and then all these black lines is just where I'm mapping the pattern of where I want the hair to go. Plastic Perfection said, collectors are not happy with the dolls. It's not the designer's fault per se. The designers are creating the concept, aesthetics of the dolls, while another team is responsible for bringing the idea to life. This is very true, and I think that a lot of people don't really realize that there's like a whole team of people that's working on these dolls, and it's not just one person's idea. Like, just as an example, I don't know if this is true, but I'm just saying as an example with these dolls, Carlisle might have had an idea where he said, let's root the doll's head, right? But if the management over him tells him, no, that's too costly for the price point you want to sell these dolls at, we can't do that. We need to do something else. They have to be, you know, cheaper grade of hair than nice saran hair. The compromise might have been, okay, fine, then give them the wigs so that it's not permanently on the doll's head, and then people will just be able to, you know, switch the doll's hair if they want to, whatever. Like, that could have been what had happened, but Carlisle's gonna get 100% of the blame when there's things about the dolls that people don't like. Priya said, also I said that too because I don't know about this guy at all. I didn't care too much about the designer really, but I didn't know much about him. I don't even know why it affected me. It was weird. Sonia Sarmiento said, hello. Hi, hi, what's up? She's talking about Bill Greening. So with Bill Greening, he is one of the very, very high quality designers at Mattel that's been there forever, like for a long time, right? Almost everybody who's a serious doll collector that has like, I don't even want to limit it to collectible dolls. I just any, like even like these dolls. Where'd they go? They're right here in front of me. I'm sitting here talking about where'd they go. Like these. This is one of my Barbie Basics dolls from this, this recent wave of dolls. One of the first 5 models. These dolls in this set were designed by, Bill Greening. And these dolls are supposed to complement these dolls that are designed by Carlisle New Era. So it's like a sister project that they worked on side by side to make sure that the dolls complemented one another. And Bill Greening's version used already existing face molds, while Carlisle's dolls have completely brand new face molds. Tevin, hi Tevin, says if Mattel could have the luxury of giving Barbie premium grade nylon, but Barbie heads would need to be a little bit bigger but exaggerated like my scene. Hi Jasmine, saying hello to everyone. A lot of people don't pay attention to who is actually designing the dolls. They just get them because they like them, and especially like newer collectors, they're not really up on designers like that. So when we talk about designers, it could be a little confusing because they're like, who, what, huh, what are you talking about? But if you've been in this hobby for a long while, then most of us are familiar with specific designers. For me, it just so happens that Carlisle and Bill Greening have created the designs for the majority of the dolls that I actually like in my collection. It's just a coincidence. Terea Monique said hi, love your channel. Hi. I think for newer people, it's kind of difficult to keep up with all the designers because that's a lot to remember. Like, I like the doll. Okay, can I get the doll or not? The designers are very behind the scenes for a lot of people, right? Plastic Perfection said it was only until recently that Mattel would give credit who designed the doll on their website. Ooh, that's a good point. So true, so true. Yeah, so, the designers were not treated like anything special, really. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you go on the website, they actually list. Now, y'all, they're even listing who designs the boxes of the dolls now, which I don't remember them doing, like, all the time, right? I don't know who these people are, but their names circulate, so if you happen to see coincidences in that there's a pattern of dolls that you like and most of those dolls were designed by the same person, then it could mean that you got a type. You feel me? Arman Rahim said, do you think they would do rooted heads if they created more kits later on, or just leave the rooted heads just to the individual basic dolls? I think that absolutely depends on what we do with these dolls right now. This is the test kit, these first 3 kits, they're trying to see like what the reaction is gonna be. If there's so many people just straight up complaining and like flipping out about it and not purchasing the dolls until they go on sale, for example, because they know that the wigs are useless and they're not going to do anything with it, then I think it's possible that they might try rooting the doll's head for the next wave of dolls if this line continues. Who even knows though, because Mattel has a track record for just straight up discontinuing things, and we already know Bill Greening is out the door now. So did he design another wave of the Barbie Basics dolls past the first 5 models? Is there another wave of them that's soon to come out in 2026? We don't really know, you know what I'm saying? Because it was supposed to be a sister project, and if he didn't get to work on the next wave, then does that mean Carlisle's all on his own trying to keep this wave alive, to keep this collection alive? We don't really know. The Doll Gaze said, now imagine what would have happened if the wigs were molded instead of fibers. I think any way that they did these wigs, it was going to cause controversy because this is not the usual way that adults who collect their Barbie dolls interact with doll hair. It's just not. Even if all the dolls were rooted with like literally the same hair color, for example, if they were all just blonde but like had different textures of blonde hair, I think that would have been better received than what's going on right now with these wigs, because at least then the hair can be dyed, cut, or people are used to ripping a doll's hair out and just rerooting from scratch, and then you'd already have the holes in there, so you don't have to like worry about where you're gonna place the plugs. Priya said Mattel is a corporation now, it's all about making money, greed basically, in my opinion anyway. Well, here's the thing, Mattel has always been a corporation. It's a doll store, it's a toy store. Their primary objective always is to make money, and we as the consumers, I think maybe because a lot of us got introduced to Barbie as children, we have this like strange relationship with the company where we tie it to our childhood. Childhood memories are nostalgic. People want to feel warm and cozy inside when they think about things that were a part of their childhood. Timothy said, Barbie's GBF asked me what I would do if he sent me all his kit wigs. I told him I would send them back to him. He just want them off his hands or haunting him. Oh, Lord. I think people are becoming more class conscious. I gotta put this darn phone on do not disturb. How can I do that? Oh my gosh. I didn't do that before I went live. Y'all, that's my mom calling me, and my mom like stalks me. If I don't answer her fast enough, she will just keep on trying to reach me. There we go. And she just doesn't get the hint, okay? I'm telling you, she does not get the hint. So, oh Lord, I can't take no chances. Anyway, I think we mistakenly just associate brands like Barbie and Mattel with pretty things, nice things, pleasant things, because we don't want to believe that a company is just money hungry and cash grabby when it's something we associate with our happy times in life, you know? I don't care who asked for these wigs. Ooh, that's a good question, Timothy. I think it's important for us to like not kid ourselves. This is why I say the things I say on this channel. I'm not about to kiss your butt cheeks because I like your product. You know what I mean? Wow, I know what that's like when your mommy is calling. So Priya. Yeah, my mom be stalking me. And this is the thing, it's not that I have a problem talking to her, but my mom is a little bit like not there mentally. So she doesn't understand that the things that she's saying to me, like, this is not the time or the place, ma'am. She will keep me hostage on the phone for literally 3 hours. Talking about a whole bunch of nothing, just nothing. And she'll keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. Every single time we have a conversation, it is so exhausting. And then like, if I say something she don't like, she'll just flip out and hang up on me. And then she'll call my sister right away and be like, your sister's a biatch because she didn't want to do X, Y, and Z for me and she's so mean. And then my sister, it's like a whole, oh my gosh, it's like ridiculous. It's like a freaking, what do you call it? Like a soap opera where these people are just constantly calling my phone, whining about the other person. And I don't got time for that, you know? Taria said, moms be on repeat. The dog gay said, as long as I don't have a Ouija board in the house, my mom can't call me. You crazy. Oh, Lord. Y'all, I be wondering sometimes, so I'll be like, why did my dad have to die so young? Like, my dad was only 36 when he died, and he was the fun parent. And I'm like, why? Like, he was all of that, you know? Why did you have to leave me here with her? Oh my gosh. Oh, sounds like such a cruel thing to say. But if you had the relationship I had with my mom, then you would totally understand what I'm saying. It's like a, what do you call it? Like a mercy to her that I even bother answering her at all, because most people that had went through what I went through with my mother, they would have cut her off by now. She's very toxic. Priya said, my mom is like that when we talk in person though. On the phone is different though. My mom is the same way all the time. On the phone, in person, it's a little easier with her on the phone because I have the option of not answering or just hanging up the phone, which I've had to do so many times because she like steps out of bounds, lickety split, you know? But I think personally, I think my mom has autism too, and she just never got diagnosed, and she's like damn near 70 years old now. So who's gonna bother, right? When I bring it up to her, she acts like autism doesn't exist. She's like, doctors made that up to get money out of you. And I'm like, but you can't cure autism. So how are they making money off of us? What are you talking about? Oh, Lord. Lordy, Lord. Christian said, not the Ouija board. Yeah, so these lines are basically my messy guidelines for the, what do you call it? For the hair, basically, of where I'm gonna place the plugs. And with this one, I did put holes here in the front, but I didn't put holes anywhere else because I have two different rooting needles that I use. The sizes are different. And so the ones in the front are gonna be a smaller size needle that I use to make smaller, you know, plugs in the hair. And then everything else on the rest of the head, I use my bigger needle to fill it up faster. I don't got the patience, you guys. Timothy, y'all, if y'all following Timothy's Toy Therapy, who's in this live right now, if you go to his channel, you will see live after live after live after live of him rooting dolls' heads. And he does an amazing job, but the time that it takes to do it the way that he's doing it, I could never. I'd be in them lives like, bro, how are you even, like, how are you awake? How can you think straight right now? You know? He said, I'm doing it right now. Christian said, I bought some wigs last year on Etsy and they are made of nice hair material, way worth the money, unlike the polypropylene. Yeah, I mean, they could use a better grade of hair. But honestly, I don't think that Mattel has the skills necessary to mass manufacture doll wigs so that it fits right on these dolls' heads. I honestly don't. I mean, prove me wrong. If they did, then we would have seen the evidence of that by now. You know, back in the day though, like in the, what is it, like the 60s maybe, they did have Barbies that came with wigs that you could switch around. I think I had a pack like that I had got off of eBay. I think it was because I wanted the clothes that it came with. And I remember like trying to work with those wigs too. And they just were not so cooperative. I think the grade of hair that was on those wigs was a little bit better, but just the way it sat on the doll's head was just not right. Timothy said I do better when I do it live streaming. Otherwise, my ADHD gets in the way. It's like body doubling. He's talking about rooting the doll's hair. Like he likes to do it on the live streams because doing it that way helps him to be like accountable so that he finishes the actual project instead of just getting distracted and going off to go do something else. Daisha Taylor said dolls will always make me happy, but I can acknowledge the flaws in manufacturing and quality control at the same time. And we should, because they're not free. We're spending money on them. If we don't talk about that stuff, then you know we got insanity like this where these dolls coming out with straight up wigs and everybody trying to act like they don't notice. Priya said, yeah, I was gonna say how you said you're impatient and I'm patient, but it depends on what I can handle. I don't think I'm patient enough for rerouting doll hair. Tevin said, y'all remember when Mattel did the Creatable World wigs with Saran? I guess they missed that step with these wigs, which boggles my mind. I don't even understand. Christian said, when they announced wigs, all I thought of was the Creatable World ones and the first color reveal dolls. They need to give it up. Yeah, I can't get with all these weird little gimmicks. I think I was into the cutie reveals. The first wave that came out, I have all 4 of those. But the faces, like, you know how you're supposed to be able to change the makeup on the face with water? It was like not really working right, and I was getting annoyed with it, and I was just like, bro, I don't have time for this, you know? This is my problem with these dolls. If you're gonna market something to me with a gimmick attached, like for example, you're gonna say all the clothes fit each other and they can all mix and match the clothes, right? Minnie G said, I'm odd. I like rerouting. Oh, no, some of us love rerouting. It's very relaxing for a lot of people. But if you're gonna market the stuff to be able to fit the other dolls in the kit, then it should fit the other dolls in the kit. Like, none of these shoes fit a regular original doll's foot. They're only good for larger feet. I don't got a problem with them only being good for a larger foot if you had announced to me first to expect that, you know? But you're straight up telling a lie if you're saying that, oh, we can mix match, you can do this and do that with it, and then we try it and it doesn't work. Like, what the hell is you talking about, you know? The dog gay said, OMG, don't get me started on how frustrating some of those shoes are. Timothy said, it's not even a good gimmick. You're lying if you say that you wanted this. Christian said, I tried rerouting and I ended up with hair everywhere and it all got tangled. I learned that rerouting is not for me. Tata, aka Lulu, said, hi, fellow ADCs. I found my scene Barbie with changing face pegs on the other, with changing face pegs on the back changes her facial. Oh, I remember those. Her facial expressions. Never seen one like it. She's kind of cute, kind of creepy. Yeah, oh my gosh, I remember those. I don't think I ever had any of those. I just had the regular mycenes. I used to collect mycenes heavy duty when I was in high school. Oh my gosh, I totally abandoned Barbie for mycene. Like, I was in love with those things. The pattern that I drew onto the doll's head basically is going to be my guideline. So that's what I did with this one. With her, I did put holes everywhere first and then root the hair because she was my test head. So I wanted to make sure that I knew where all the hair was going to go. But with this one, I don't really need to do that. I'm just going to poke the holes as I'm rooting the doll's head. The way that I do my reroots, I do it the same way that I do with reborn dolls with like a rooting tool. And for this one, I made my own rooting tool because I could not find the one that I already had. So I don't have to thread the hair through and like pull it out on the other side of the head and then knot it. Like, that's too many steps for me. I just can't deal with it. And I need to be able to do it in one sitting. Like, Timothy can do a doll's head over the course of days, you know? I can't. My ADHD will make me like unable to sleep at night because I keep like playing it out in my mind what she's gonna look like when I'm done. So my own curiosity will just keep me awake. So I have to do it that day, you know? So if I start rooting this doll's hair today, like, I can't stop until I finish. So the rooting method that I use makes it possible for me to do it within a few hours. All I do is just, you know, watch TV while I'm doing it. You don't have to be super precise. Because I use 2 different rooting needle sizes, it kind of makes it easier for me to get the hair everywhere that I want it to be at. The trick is, though, you got to be so organized when you're doing it so you don't end up with hair all over the place, okay? Because it's so easy for it to get out of control. I guess I would understand your issues with Mattel sometimes. Like, y'all, I did have issues with the way they made some Playline dolls because of their stiff bodies. That's Priya saying that. Timothy said, Ethan sent me one of these mycene dolls, the ones that have those changing faces, right? Tevin said, I rooted a few of my male dolls with braiding hair to learn how to root. The ones I got right was the ones I bonded with. Amen. And Minnie G said, K-drama and reroute. Tevin said, I rooted one of my natural nieces, Greg, with hair down to his toes. That became an instant favorite of mine. And I now play with him more than the original Greg that I bought. Yeah, they're more special, I think, when you put your own like touch on the dolls. Unless you do like a horrible job and you're like, what did I do? But with this one, like her hair, I wanted her to have very like wild looking hair. I was looking at somebody's Instagram. Timothy, do you know who the name of that Instagram content creator was? The one that you sent me a picture of, and I was saying that they like inspired me. Yeah, I was looking at their pictures and they had a bunch of reroots. Some of the dolls, their hair, like the styling of it was just very wild. Like it didn't look like a nice, neat, brushed, tamed hairstyle. No, Alyssa, did you do something with her lips? Her lips are literally, her whole face is exactly the way that she came, other than the little bit of baby hairs that I gave her. So these dolls, like, and I was contemplating, should I redo their lips? Should I redo their makeup? For now, I think I want to just enjoy them the way that they are because their faces really are very perfect. My dolls, the screening on them is really good. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it. And usually I don't like these like very bold red kind of like lipstick on my dolls. Definitely not on my ethnic looking dolls, but somehow it works on her. It's actually very glossy. Let me turn this light off so you can see like in a regular lighting what it looks like. It's not as bright, you know? See how it's not super bright red? But with the light on her face, of course, it does look a lot brighter. And same with her hair. Her hair looks so orange when like the light is shining on it, but it's really not. This hair is the same as this doll's hair right here. This is from the Heidi from Barbie Looks series, Heidi #1, the first Heidi doll, right? Or the original, I should say. This is her hair, but this one, I heat treated it, so most of her curls have dropped out of it, but you see even with the heat treatment how her hair does naturally want to curl up. So I think it's just the fiber has the curls baked into it. But with this one, what I did was I just kind of dipped it in some hot water. I didn't really manipulate the texture of the hair other than the hot water doing whatever it did and then just very lightly detangling it. But I wanted it to look really big and I wanted it to be like kind of out of control looking. Like the character that I am establishing for this doll, she's supposed to be like a wild child, you know what I'm saying? Like she's just kind of all over the place and very disorganized. Her character is supposed to be like she just never has time to do anything, especially not her crazy hair. And I was trying to contemplate if I wanted to go with longer hair or shorter hair for this doll, but I decided I want to keep her hair short because when I'm dressing dolls, the collars of the doll's clothing, the longer hair keeps getting like caught in the clothing when I'm trying to dress that and stuff. It's so annoying and I have to keep like fixing it when it's just I can't. I have a bajillion dolls with long hair and I don't have that many dolls with medium length or short length hair. So that's why I ended up giving her shorter hair. Plus it was less to have to like style afterwards, trying to cut the hair to a certain length and yada yada yada. So that's what I did. I wanted her hair to be very bushy and like her character is supposed to be like mixed, right? So I don't know about you, but most of us people who have hair that's a mixed texture where it's like one parent is black and the other parent is whatever, the black gene is extremely strong. The manageability of your hair is like 50-50. You might end up with some real so-called good hair that's tameable, or you might end up with something that's just like out of control, frizzy, the curl pattern is just all over the place. That's a reality of having mixed genes, right? Adonis was telling me that he thought that this doll looked like she was part Scottish and part black or something because she looks like a person we know that's mixed like that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run with that. When I was trying to figure out what kind of hair texture to give her, I was like, yeah, I need something that's wild. Like I need a hair that like, you looking at her like, girl, you ain't brush your hair before you came out the house. What happened? But she's so carefree, like she doesn't care, you know what I mean? She's not stressing over it because she ain't about to stress over her hair. She gotta get to wherever she gotta get to. She don't got time to be messing around with her hair. So she might just throw some glasses in there or put on a little hat or tie her hair up or something and just bounce, just run out the house. Like that's the feel I wanted to have for this doll. Normally, you guys know I be always saying I don't like fantasy hair colors. I like for my dolls to have natural hair colors. For me, this shade of red, if you want to call it a redhead, it is kind of fantastical. So like that's the closest thing I can get to having a fantasy hair color is to go with a red tone or like a platinum blonde. So I thought it would be fun to give her like a bright hair color, whether she dyed it this way or this is her natural hair color. Nobody really knows, but it's just very unusual looking. She's light skinned, she got freckles, she's got blue eyes. Like, what are all of these different features put together? How did you get like this? You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was gonna be fun to complement her already existing exotic features with the exotic hair color. Taria said, I love the hair on Naturalista dolls. Hate that my Barbie dolls cannot fit the shoes from their fashion packs. Ugh. Priya said, my mom said to me, I'm not autistic when I asked her, although she tells people that I'm multiply handicapped. I do have developmental delays, but I think my mom is too stubborn to find out. Your mom can't diagnose you with autism, especially if she doesn't know anything about autism. Like, I think people don't understand what autism is, especially in like our mom's generation and older, because autism was not prevalently studied at the time, and it absolutely was not even associated with females. Like, they acted like if you're a woman, you can't be autistic or something, because males present much differently than how women do that have autism. I wouldn't bank on whatever your mom is talking about. Like, you need to have a professional assess whether or not you're autistic. But honestly, I had self-diagnosed before I ever went to a professional, because when I was listening to the experiences of people who do have autism themselves, 100% I understood where they were coming from, and it explained a lot of my like quirks, I guess people call it. I totally understood why and where they were coming from, you know? So when I did finally go and get my diagnosis, I'm telling you, 5 minutes in the office with the professionals, immediately they were like, you're definitely autistic. And I'm like, well, how the hell do you know? We didn't even do anything yet. They're like, nah, we could tell, but you still have to go through the diagnosis process so that it's official, but we can absolutely tell that you're autistic. So I was like, okay, if you say so. And then I did actually go through the diagnostic process and got my diagnosis, but like your mom, she's not qualified to tell you if you're autistic or not. A lot of people think that autism is the same thing as Down syndrome or mental retardation, and it's not the same thing. It's very different. It's like hard for you to explain it, because some of the traits of people that have mental retardation or Down syndrome will have like similarities with people that have autism too. You know what I mean? So it can be a little bit tricky trying to explain, and I'm not sure if this part is true, if people that have Down syndrome can also be autistic, but I wouldn't rule it out. I'm not a professional, so I couldn't say for sure. Craft Geek said, I got some human hair left over from a person's wig I made. You're tempting me to try a reroute with it. I say do it. I say go for it. I don't know how human hair behaves when it's installed in little small heads like this. What I'm gonna do is what Tevin was talking about, using braiding hair. So for this doll, my plan is to give her longer than her long straight hair. I think I want to give her bangs, and I'm going to probably like make it longer than shoulder length for her. I did some mock-ups where I kind of like made digital pictures of the dolls with hair to kind of get like an idea of what I might want to do. So I'm thinking about that for this doll, and when I do the edited version, because this live that we're doing right now, I am going to edit this, take out all the dead air, add some imagery, and turn this into a regular upload for people who missed the live. The thing about lives is that YouTube places them in a completely separate tab from your regular videos, and the majority of people who watch your regular uploads, they don't bother going over to your live tab to see what videos you have there. So unless they're getting notifications, which we all know YouTube and their notification system is garbage, they just will miss the video, you know? So I don't want anybody who wants this information that we're talking about to like miss out on it. So I'll just end up editing this and then putting it up. When I do, then I'll show you guys the pictures that I have of the mock-ups that I'm using to kind of guide me or like give me some ideas of what I want to do with this doll's hair. Cleo said, that's an interesting way to spell Cleo. Or mixed literally two types of hair on one head. Such fun. Yeah, exactly. Like my hair pattern. What hair pattern? Like I don't have like a curl pattern in my hair. It comes out of my scalp straight, then it starts to curl into coils, then it ends with waves. Like it's bizarre how each strand of my hair behaves, which I don't understand. Cause like, don't scientists say that the curl texture of your hair is determined by like the shape of your actual holes in your scalp, and how that like you know what I'm saying, how the strands come out of your scalp. How can my hair strand be like 3 different textures if the hole is only one size, one shape? It doesn't make any sense to me. Are they making that up? Do they really not know? how curl patterns work, because it's so bizarre. How do you explain people like us that have crazy different textures of hair in our head? Minnie G said, wild hair, don't care vibes. Cleo said, I love her wild free hair. Nola said she's giving Mad Hatter vibes. Oh yeah, I can see that too for sure. The dog gay said, I'm a psychologist. It's our job to be able to recognize the signs very quickly. I know whether or not somebody is neurodivergent within minutes of talking to them. It also helps that I have ADHD. Bro, but how? How can you guys tell? Like, I'm a lot better now at telling whether or not somebody else has autism because I recognize the traits very quickly, but that's because I am autistic. So like I know what it feels like or why the person is like. When they're stimming, I can tell that they're stimming, but somebody else might just be like, oh, this person just rocking back and forth because they can't sit still. They're restless. No, they're not restless. They're doing that for a reason, you know? Taria said also there are different types of autism. Yeah, autism is like, it's a spectrum disorder, so like you can't measure everybody on the same scale. Like this person with autism is not going to act like this person with autism. This person might have an aversion to loud sounds, whereas this person is just fine. This person might have an aversion to spicy like smells, but this person doesn't care. You can't really gauge how they're going to behave based on little individual things like that. But then both of them will have things that are totally in common, like they both don't quite understand sarcasm, you know? They both don't quite understand emotions, like how to express them. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Daisha said, my mom says I can make eye contact and I'm well-spoken, so I can't have all. That's complete nonsense. Listen, there's a thing called masking, okay? When you mask, hi, other Mikey, especially for women are masters at learning how to mask, because just part of our girl culture in general is that we have to fit in with the group so that we're not ostracized by other women. That's just part of the way that we're brought up, you know? So it's easier for us to acclimate, and we're more like emotionally in tune than boys are. So we just pick that stuff up as we're, you know, moving through life, that everybody's looking each other dead in the face for some reason. So I better do that too. And people will keep saying things to you like, why aren't you looking me in my eye? Why are you not looking at my eyes when you talk to me? So that tells you, well, something must be wrong with me if I don't look at the person's eyes. I don't know why they want me to do it, but I better start doing it if I don't want people to think I'm crazy, you know? So you'll just pick up these masking techniques and learn to do them, even though you feel extremely uncomfortable while you're looking in the person's eyes, even though you're counting down the seconds to when you can break eye contact, because it's just like tormenting you. But you can't say that out loud, and you can't show that you are really uncomfortable, because people are gonna think that you are lying to them or you got something to hide or whatever. So I wouldn't base it on silly things like whether or not I'm making good eye contact. Y'all, I had to train myself to look into the viewfinder when I make videos over the course of many months, even I would say years. There were times when I would apologize to you guys as I was making videos to say, don't take it the wrong way because I'm not looking y'all dead in the eye, because it's really difficult for me to look into the viewfinder when I'm talking. My eyes just dart all over the place. Part of that when it comes to autism is that, like, one, it's painful for us to like look into people's eyes because I feel like I'm invading your privacy or something. You know, I don't know what it is about it. It just feels very like intimate, and like, I don't know you like that. I don't want to look you all up in your face. So it's uncomfortable for people to look at people in their eyes. And then the other part of it is, it feels like your mind is all over the place. You're noticing things that other people might not know, especially if you got ADHD as well. You be like seeing stuff all around the room when you're talking to someone that you just notice. You can't help yourself. So your eyes just dart from here to there and all over the place because you're just seeing all these different things going on. Stimuli, you know, it's just like too much sometimes. You get really overwhelmed. Sometimes when I really want to concentrate, like my husband and I are having like a very serious talk, I just end up closing my eyes. I don't even look anywhere. I close my eyes while he's talking so I can really concentrate on what he's saying and not get distracted. He used to get offended when I would do that before we knew I had autism. But then once I got my diagnosis and he understood, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not trying to be rude to you. I'm actually trying to concentrate and not get distracted by all this other stuff that I see happening in the room that's going to make me space out. And then when I tune back into what you said, I didn't even understand what the hell you were just talking about. You know what I mean? So like, you got to kind of work with the way your brain works. I tell you, man, therapy really helped me a lot. My therapist was so on point. He had ADHD and his girlfriend had autism, so he knew exactly what I was going through, and he really helped me to learn how to like cope with a lot of my issues. Priya said, it's just ever since I've been curious about it, because my sister once asked me what kind of developmental delays that I have. My sister had me so obsessed about finding out since I can't travel on my own. I mean, if you do have a developmental delay, it shouldn't be a mystery. there's some kind of diagnosis that exists. You have every right to know what you're diagnosed with. The Dalgay said people who are neurodivergent almost speak a different language. Ooh, and we keep up with each other, whereas other people get lost in our thought paths. Ooh, okay, that does make sense. If y'all hadn't realized, other than dolls, my other special interest is psychology, disorders, all of that kind of stuff, like crime. I get so into all of that stuff because I want to know, like, what drives a person to harm somebody else. Why do you think like that? Why do you have the audacity to hurt another person and think you're just gonna get away with it? Like, I don't get that. So I want to pick apart the thought processes of people who think that way. And the same with, like, as a neurodivergent person, because the world that I live in does not accommodate a neurodivergent person, I have to then accommodate all the neurotypical people around me who do things a certain way. Like, they want you to look them in the eye when you talk to them, right? So I study as much as I can about psychology because I need to understand, like, why do they want us to do these things? I don't really understand why I'm doing it. I know I need to do it, but I don't know why. And then at the same time, I'm like, but why do I need to do it? Like, are you gonna die because I don't look you in the eye? Just say what you want to say to me, damn it. Like, my eyes aren't listening to your voice, you know? Timothy said, I too get lost in my thought paths. Taria said, look me in the eyes. I don't know you like that, right? Priya said, I love psychology too, Gypsy. It just fascinates me how, like, we're all human beings, but we don't think the same. It's just funny how, like, autism it's labeled as a disability, but really, if you talk to people who have autism, at least the so-called high-functioning ones, it's not really a disability so much as an inconvenience because the world doesn't cater to us. So if the world was more catering to how we move, there would be no disability. In fact, it's like a superpower because I'm able to hyper focus, like when I'm trying to root hair. As long as I know what my plan is before I get to business, it's like the time just goes by lickety split. I don't even realize hours have gone by. I don't get tired. I don't get exhausted. I stay focused and I can, like, carry out the task that I'm super interested in. But then if you tell me to do like a math problem, it's gonna take me 3 hours to get through one question on the page because I'm not interested in this. Leave me alone, you know? So in some ways it does hinder us, but in a lot of ways, if you find an autistic person who has a really good talent for something specific, like my son who's 19 and at 13 or 14 he taught himself how to sew. He's autistic. I didn't show him how to do it. I don't know how he does it. He just creates literal patterns from scratch. Like, he just draws them and then he makes whatever he feels like making with it. He sews his own clothes. Like, I haven't gone shopping for him to buy him clothes since he turned 13 or 14 and learned how to sew on his own. And he likes his handmade clothes a lot better than stuff that we buy him from the store, you know? That's his autism that made him able to, like, figure that out. And I can't explain it. It's like a strange superpower. But when it comes to communication, no, he'll go mute. If he has like a problem with something, he doesn't know how to, like, regulate his emotions well. So instead of telling me if something's bothering him, he'll just bottle it up, keep it to himself. And I have to sit there and, like, drill him like a investigator, asking him all these questions. What's wrong with you? Because he won't tell me what's wrong. Like, I know something's wrong because he stops talking, but he won't tell me what the problem is until, who knows? Sometimes he don't tell me at all. I just end up, like, trying to figure it out. But it's very, like, exhausting trying to break it all down with him because I'm trying to help him and he doesn't know how to express whatever. And sometimes it'll be something so minuscule and stupid. Like, I'm stressed out about a birthday present that I have to get for my friend and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to their birthday party because I have to work that day. Like, it'll be something like that. And you're like, really? You just went mute for like 38 hours because of that? You could have just told me, you know what I'm saying? But that's autism for you. I get that I'm like that too sometimes, so I'm not autistic. That's Priya saying that. Minnie G said looking in the general direction of people's head usually is enough. Yeah, that's what I do. I don't really look them in the eye. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. And the beauty of the diagnosis is that now I don't really have to, like, explain myself as much. I just tell people straight up when I meet them, I'm autistic, it's me, it's not you. So if I'm saying or doing something that you are questioning, like, what the hell made her say that? That's why, bro. All right, so just leave it at that. And that works for me. People leave me the hell alone because they understand once I explain it to them, even if they don't quite know what autism is. Like, they kind of have an idea. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at this hair. This one boggles me the most because I'm like, why is it like this? I did boil wash this one. I didn't actually use any product in any of the wigs so far. People have been saying that if you use product, it could soften it up more, but I don't like the general like texture, the scratchiness of the polypropylene hair. So I'm not really interested in doing that much more with these wigs. So I gave up on them. That's it for me. I think the most I'm gonna end up doing with them is using them for this doll, Alasni, with some kind of a like hat on to camouflage the horrible hairlines for times when I want to display her with like regular casual clothes on, because she is actually bald. But outside of that, I'm good. And this black wig, honestly, if I do end up keeping this, because I haven't decided, do I want to like list these things on eBay and just get rid of them or bother with them at all? I don't know. But because the Hime cut was just done so tragically, I decided that I'm probably going to end up cutting it all the way down to a bob and then use it for the other doll, Alasni, instead, because I just can't be bothered. But these girls, they deserve hair. I'm sorry. They deserve rooted hair, unless you're just going to straight up keep them bald. Like, the wigs are not doing them justice. Not these wigs. Maybe some other wigs, not these ones that they came with. They're all gonna get hair, and I'll keep updating you guys to let you know what I end up doing with the dolls and what decisions I end up making in case it's gonna help somebody. This is about to end on me, this live. Priya said, I'm wondering if I have ADD, but my mom just knows I was diagnosed with developmental delays. Yeah, that sounds a little weird. You should go see a professional and ask them what the so-called delay is. Queen Offset said, have you considered getting wigs on Etsy? Yeah, I'm just gonna reroute the dolls. I'm just rooting all of them. That's what I'm gonna do. It's easier for me to just deal with it that way. Bye, have a dolly day.